What two teams will play in the 2020 Super Bowl and who will come out on top?
Predictions, eh? Well, I've got some. Let's look at the match UPS on the AFC side. The Ravens host the Titans, and the Chiefs host the Texans. Logic would dictate that the Ravens and Chiefs advance, but I'd certainly say that Houston has a better shot of winning their game. Now for the AFC side. The 49ers host the Vikings, and the Packers host the Seahawks. I could see both road teams winning, but the Seahawks have to have the better shot in my opinion. So let's say that the Ravens, Chiefs, 49ers, and Seahawks advance. The Seahawks and 49ers have already met twice this season, splitting their match. UPS and Seattle took San Francisco down to the wire just a couple of weeks ago. This one could be one for the books. In the end, I think the 49ers are just the better and healthier team. As for the Ravens and Chiefs, the Ravens have the better defense and the offenses are pretty even. I'd take Baltimore in this one, but it could go either way. That sets up a Baltimore Ravens vs. San Francisco 49ers Super Bowl. This is a rematch of their Week 13 contest where Baltimore came out on top after a last-second FG to win it. I don't know who would win this one. I like Lamar Jackson better than Jimmy Garoppolo at QB, but I like the 49ers role players better. Flip a coin. Here's my caveat: if the 49ers lose before the Super Bowl, and I think a matchup with Seattle is the only way that happens, the Ravens are winning the whole thing. The 49ers are the only team that can beat Baltimore, in my opinion. Well, I'm going to say the red teams. Yup, the red teams will be playing for the stupid bowl. The one that will win, the one with the most points. I'll watch the game, unless I fall asleep while it is on, but just for the commercials. It sucks that they actually release the commercials on the internet before they air during the game. That was the only thing that kept me interested. In case you can't tell, I'm not a big NFL fan. There are a few reasons. The game has become pussified to the max. I half expect the QBs to be wearing monitors in the very near future that will detect a nearby opponent. If said opponent gets within 3 feet of them, the QB is down. If the opponent actually touches or hits the QB, he is ejected from the game and suspended for the rest of the season. If it happens a second time in his career, he loses his pension. Just put skirts on all of them and maybe flags like the little kids wear. The people who choose to play in the NFL know the risks associated and accept those risks for their pay. It is no different than if a lumberjack loses an arm to a chainsaw accident while working. That is a risk of the profession. If an NFL player gets a concussion and has his eggs scrambled, that is a risk associated with the game/profession he chose. Don't come back crying later in life saying that you didn't know. Let them play. Last thought, I'll be more interested in the stupid bowl when the Cleveland Clowns are playing. Until then, it's all about the commercials. 2020 Super Bowl contender. NFC. 49ers 8-0 with a solid QB, receiving core, and running back, a star tight end, and a great defense. Seahawks Russell Wilson is the best QB in the league, Chris Carson is a stud, and Russ has enough weapons to make a Super Bowl run. Packers Aaron Rodgers is back and he finally has a run game and defense. Saints great QB, great coach, great running back, great defense. Long shots. Cowboys solid team that should win the East, but the NFC is too deep. Eagles if Wentz steps up his game then they might have a chance to make a run. Vikings almost put them in contenders, and if they beat Green Bay I'd put them there, but Kirk is inconsistent and they're not as well built as some of the other teams. Rams Goff just hasn't played good enough to say that they're a contender. They'll have an uphill battle to even make the playoffs. Pick Saints. AFC. Contenders. Patriots I'm not even going to bother explaining this one. Chiefs explosive offense that can possibly beat New England, but I'm not sold on the defense. Texans Watson is looking great in year 3 now that he finally has protection. Ravens led by one of the league's most explosive QBs and a great defense. I think they can hang with New England. Long shots. Colts Brissett is a solid QB, the team's well coached, and the defense is good. I don't think they are as good as some other teams out there. Bills, I don't think they're for real, but they could prove me wrong. I think they'll be a contender next year. Pick Patriots. These were my preseason picks. I see no reason to change them now. Drew Brees wins Super Bowl MVP after leading his team to a thrilling 27-24 victory over New England. My dream Super Bowl matchup would be the San Francisco 49ers versus the Baltimore Ravens, since it would have the new gold rush, which is the San Francisco 49ers team versus the exciting football skills of Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson. As much as the New England Patriots are the defending Super Bowl champions, my feeling is that the Patriots will probably lose to the Ravens either in the AFC divisional playoff round or the AFC championship game, since they look like an average team against the Ravens and Texans this year. I, as many other, have the Baltimore Ravens winning the Super Bowl. They just have that feel. They have a great defense, a spectacular O-line, and a pretty damn good QB in Lamar Jackson, who will win MVP. For who comes out of the NFC is a bit more tricky. The 49ers are really good, as are the Saints, and the Packers, and the Seahawks are still good, but they are currently fighting an injury bug. Both the Saints and Packers have experience in the playoffs, which to me gives them an automatic advantage over the 49ers. I feel like the Saints have the best chance to make it out of the NFC. Super Bowl. Ravens vs Saints. Ravens win 28-27 in what I expect to be a classic. I see the Chiefs playing the Packers and winning in a last-minute nail-biter. Score-wise, I think it will be a passing marathon with a 38-34 final. I hate to bet against my own team, but I think this is going to be the Cinderella season for the Chiefs, and they aren't going to let up until they have that Lombardi trophy in hand. I keep changing my mind. I did not think the Ravens would be this good. But they are. I thought the Texans were going for it all this year by mortgaging their future getting Laramie Tunsil from the Miami team. They look good, but the Ravens dismantled them. I thought the Cowboys were loaded and still do, but what is happening in that locker room? All that talent and they just can't seem to get it together. Randall Cobb has not done a good job of replacing Cole Beasley. Man, did he get his revenge for the Bills beating his former team. The Saints look good and have that great secondary, but again they lost Mark Ingram to the Ravens and he is just giggling his way on his new team. With Lamar Jackson and Ingram they can run the ball down the other team's throat, and that is how you can beat the Pats. Beat them up physically. The Packers are coming on strong and Aaron Rodgers looks amazing, like he is reborn. He does not smile like Carson Wentz does, when he loses, even when he wins. He is on a mission now, having a running back and a good defense. The Eagles are a joke. Imagine they traded the draft pick to the Ravens, which turned out to be Lamar Jackson. Seattle is strong also with Russell Wilson. So now I have to pick. I think the Ravens and Texans are the two favorites in the AFC, while the Packers and Saints are the top two teams in the NFC unless the boys get their act together. The Ravens are the best team right now with the Texans right behind them. I think the Ravens are the superior team, maybe beating the Packers in the Super Bowl. How is anyone supposed to know until after the Super Bowl? If you are looking for us to make wild guesses, what's the point? It will not influence the final result one bit. I'm here to give answers, not guesses, that in all likelihood will be wrong anyway. I'm excited to see what happens this year. In the AFC it looks like Baltimore. They have home field throughout and have been playing the best football out of anyone. Kansas City is right there with them and I could see them making it as well. Cincinnati is always the cure for the Patriots' troubles and they looked good against Buffalo too, so I wouldn't be surprised if they took the AFC championship either, but they've already lost to KC and the Ravens, so they have an uphill battle there. I don't even think that the Bills would be a huge surprise. They have a good team. I just don't think Josh Allen is ready yet. The NFC is tougher for me to predict, I just don't watch enough of their games. It looks like it's going to be a bloodbath though, with the 49ers, Packers, Saints, Seahawks and Vikings all with pretty close records just fighting it out. I don't even think the byes have been determined, never mind home field advantage, so I'll have to wait and see to make a prediction, although I'm going to anyway. If I had to guess right now, I'm going with the Ravens and the Saints in the Super Bowl. I'm thinking Breeze and company pull it out in a high-scoring game, something like 42-35. Titans 49 ERS Packers Chiefs winner equals 49 ERS, N. 49ers vs. Titans. That is the matchup I want to see. But realistically it looks like it will be the 49ers versus the Chiefs. My wild card, Packers vs. Titans or Packers vs. Chiefs. Who will come out on top, the Niners? At this point, since two of my picks lost, I have my money on Kansas City if they win against the Texans. They in true honesty have more experience in the postseason and a flexible offense, meaning if you slow down the passing game with Hardman and Hill, the running game and Travis Kelce can shine. On the other hand, it looks like the Seahawks and 49ers will be battling it out. I believe Seattle might make magic happen and return back to the Super Bowl. That Atlanta Falcons will play the Kansas City Chiefs. That Atlanta My man, if anyone really knew that answer, I'd call you from my chateau in France or my beach house in Tahiti.